And at this point, you are looking for over-the-counter stuff, and you're going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You keep going. You're not thinking about the fact that you've accumulated this stuff, that it's aggravating. You're going to take your little medicine, and then you're going to keep going.
And this Papa Tums, and everything's good.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you better not have Papa Tums, by the way. It's a bad thing to do. And so this is the last chance. This
Mm-hmm.
is your last chance without professional help to really address the issue. But since we don't ever do that, on we go to good old stage 3.
Oh, this is starting to sound a little serious.
Uh-huh. So stage 3, we've envisioned this river has gotten so much velocity, and there's so much volume of water that now it's starting to flood over to the sides, right? And so if it's flooding over the sides, and this is why people say to me, well, I don't understand. First I had this problem, with the headache, and then, I was constipated, and then I had this problem in my back, and they see them all as different things. It's not different. When you envision something flooding out, what happens? Now that the water has flooded out, it can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And where is it going to go? It's going to go where you are vulnerable. So if you have and that's why everybody doesn't get cancer, everybody doesn't get arthritis. It goes wherever you happen to be vulnerable. So flooding to me is a huge crossroad, because you're really starting to get the message, but you're not doing anything about it. So if you would do something about it in flooding, it makes life so much, it makes my life so much easier when you come to me and I can work with people in flooding. But the problem is that conventional thought is responsible for the advancement of disease.
See, I got it.
This is really important to know. Because of that, what you're going to do is you're going to take a Prilosec and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're going to do. And so because of that, now the water is flooding to that plant down there, where it used to be a problem that was local. It's now a problem that's systemic, and that is a huge, huge problem. So on to stage 4 we go.
I'm a little bit nervous about where we're going to
stage
here.
4. So we have this picture of this flood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stage 4 is called displacement.
Mm-hmm.
Displacement means there's so much volume and velocity of water that it's just moved everything clear out of the way.
Oh.
Displacement is like this little house that's just floating down the river now.
Mm-hmm.
Displacement is huge. You are now in danger of developing full-blown disease. And I like to use a different visual aid for displacement, because when I talk to people about displacement, I say to them, well, your body has this amazing ability to contort. Remember we were talking about how the systems feed each other,
right?
And so our glass of water is trying to get from one place to the next. Mm-hmm. Well, the other side of the story to that is that if your reproductive system needs that water really bad, the body is so brilliant, it will literally distort itself to try and get it to you.
Wow.
Okay, so here's a picture of the colon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that look like what everybody thinks a colon looks like?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a typical picture of a typical colon, right?
Okay.
So most people that come to me say, oh yeah, that's a colon. And I say, well, unfortunately, that's probably not your colon.
Mm-hmm. Slap kick.
Wake up time. Okay, I don't really say it exactly like that, but here's the deal. This is a colon that has not been through displacement, okay? Most people have colons that look, you ready?
Okay.
All right. Most people have colons that look a little more like
Oh,
that.
my goodness.
Okay.
They're like Chinese acrobats over
Here
here.
we go. So you can imagine if this person is constipated, the putrefied fecal matter has got to find its way all the way through all this distortion, and the colon is doing this and distorting itself so that it can help the body. And so the body is a brilliant combination of backup systems. That's the best way to describe it. So if you envision, say, a construction crew, this is my best analogy of this. You got a construction crew, so you're laying the brick, and I'm putting the wood pile together, and then there's somebody else that's jackhammering and somebody else doing something else, right? So we all have our function. That's how the body works.
Right.
Whenever you upset the internal balance of the body, it would be like me going, hey, there's a rain cloud. Can you help me put this wood away so it doesn't get wet? And so you drop what you're doing, the jackhammer drops what he's doing, everybody drops what they're doing, and they come and they help. Now, if every time you eat you create this emergency situation, all of these things that have no power, viruses have no power. They're not even technically considered alive. Any biologist will tell you that. Bacteria have no nuclei. They have no power. Germs have no power. The conventional thought will make you think you got to take this to fight the germ. They're scavengers. If there's nothing for them to eat, they're dead or they're gone. Okay? So if you make your body a Hawaiian retreat for, germs and bacteria, they'll stay. But if you make your body the LA freeway at 5 o'clock, the germs are like, I'm out of here.
Right.
So this is really important to understand. So getting back to here, I asked a colon therapist about this recently, and I said, see these different distortions? How young can this show up in, a person? And he said that as a colon therapist, he has seen this distortion show up in children as young as 6 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So when I say displacement, I know I'm using this analogy of this river overflowing. I literally mean that your body will contort itself in any way it can to try and keep you alive. Your body's number one prime directive is keep you alive.
Right.
It's not thinking that if it robs your bones today, you're going to get osteopenia or osteoporosis.
Right.
It's thinking if it doesn't do the acid-alkaline balance today, you're going to die.
Right.
So that's what that's about. That is the true picture of displacement. Let's just breathe that in.
And I'd like to just breathe that
Breathe
right
it right
on
out. I know that's not a fun thing, but sometimes you really need to see things.
Absolutely.
You need
Education
to see
is
it,
power.
and I tell people all the time, you cannot fix something that you're not willing to look at. Be willing to look at it and don't be afraid. It's usually not as bad as you think. Sometimes it is pretty bad, but just like, you walk into a dirty room and you're like, oh my God, where do I start? Well, I'm standing there helping you going, start there. Let's start this. We start doing it little by little. You do the work, you plan the work and work the plan. Pretty soon your room will be clean.
Absolutely. When my kids, I tell them to clean their room, that's exactly what they do. They freak out. It seems so overwhelming.
Right.
And I say to them, pick up 5 things.
Yeah, there you go.
Pick up 5 things and then step back and then pick up 5 more. And we make a little game about it. So I can totally see how if somebody comes in, then you can say, well, start with this. Now at this. Now at this. And then pretty soon it's a clean room. Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's that. So as you can see, we're not going down a fabulous path.
No, it doesn't look like a lot of fun after the whole colon contortion tour.
After that, as you can see, we're kind of headed down a path here.
Right.
It's not feeling really good, but I want you to have the knowledge, and then we're going to turn it around. We're going to get to the positive. Just hang in there with me. We only got 2 more stages left. So now what we have is stage 5 of disease, which is called manifestation. Manifestation. Well, the best way to describe this is in stage 4 of disease, you're thinking, I need to do something. Maybe I should go to the doctor. Maybe I should, pick up some pills. I need to do something. In stage 5 of disease, your husband's going, honey, you need to do something about that gas. I mean, I'm going to have to go in the other room if you don't, help me out here.
Take care
of that, please? Yeah. So in manifestation, the symptoms of a full-blown disease are there, and you finally go to the doctor, and unfortunately the doctor says, I'm sorry, you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have an autoimmune disease, whatever. So manifestation is when a disease is actually named. It is actually named. And so at this point, this is huge, at this point, without proactivity, dedication, motivation, persistence, it will be very, very hard to reverse the course of disease. Very, very hard. You will either have to go on medication or you will have to decide with every cell in your being that you are going to turn this thing around. At this point, the water in our river has caused problems in every place that it's gone. And that's the reason why we have manifested a particular dis-ease in the body. Okay? And so I'm going to briefly cover flowering because it's not a very fun thing to talk about.
Okay.
But you have to know the 6 stages. I want you to know all stages, and so we'll get to the positive, I promise.